Ever imagine consistently crushing your sports bets? After putting in some serious research.
Feels good, right? Like you've cracked the code.
Exactly. But what happens next?
Well, it might actually surprise you.
Yeah, that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at this script that really highlights a hidden side of sports betting.
Which is what? That winning gets you penalized.
Basically, yeah. How sportsbooks often limit or sometimes even just ban bettors who are too successful.
Okay, hold on. So our mission here is to unpack why this happens.
Exactly. Why they do it, the tactics they use, and, what it all means for you if you're placing bets.
Because it feels counterintuitive. Unlike a casino game where the house edge is built in.
Right, like roulette or blackjack. The math's always in their favor long term.
But with sports betting, if you're smart, if you do the research, you can find an edge.
You can.
Yeah.
And that's the problem for them. If you consistently win, you're directly taking money out of their pocket.
So it hits their profit margin directly. Precisely. Sportsbooks ideally want balanced action, roughly equal money bet on both sides of an event. That lets them profit from the vig or juice regardless of who wins.
Ah, okay. Winners mess up that balance.
Big time. Especially consistent winners. They become a risk management problem.
So what do they do about it? The script mentions account limitations.
Yeah, that's a big one. Suddenly, maybe you can't bet nearly as much as you used to.
On everything, or just certain things.
Could be either. Sometimes they restrict you from specific markets, maybe ones where you've shown you have an edge.
And they don't just call you up and say, hey, you're winning too much.
No, definitely not. The script makes that clear. They're much more corporate about it.
How so?
They'll use these vague phrases, things like, a trading decision has been made.
A trading decision. What does that even mean?
Or business decision, risk management adjustment. Sounds official, right?
Yeah, sounds like it's not personal.
But often it boils down to, you're costing us money, so we're cutting you back.
And then there's this soft limit thing the script talks about. That sounds insulting.
It kind of is. You're not banned, technically. You can still log in, you can still place a bet, but your maximum stake might be slashed to something tiny, like ridiculously small.
How small are we talking?
The script gives examples like $2 or $5, even on a major NFL game or something.
Wow. Okay, so why not just ban people outright then, if they're a problem?
Well, that's an interesting point. Soft limiting keeps you as a customer, sort of.
Maybe hoping you'll bet smaller or play casino games on the site?
Exactly. It mitigates their risk from your sharp betting, but doesn't totally kick you out. It's risk management theater, almost.
Now, the script says it's not just about how much you win overall.
Right. It's often about how you win, your betting patterns.
Like what kind of patterns flag you as a sharp bettor?
Things like betting really quickly right after odds are posted or shift significantly. That suggests you're acting on info faster than the average person.
Okay, speed matters.
Yeah.
What else?
Also, focusing heavily on niche markets. Less popular stuff.
Like what? Second division volleyball?
Yeah, or obscure tennis matches, youth football leagues. Markets where the odds might be, let's say, less scrutinized or liquid.
Meaning the sportsbook might make more mistakes setting the lines there.
Precisely. And sharp bettors are experts at finding those weak spots. If you're consistently hitting those niche markets hard and fast.
They notice. Even if the total amount won isn't astronomical yet.
Right. It signals you probably know more than they do about that specific market, which is a long-term risk for them.
And legally, can they actually just do this? Limit or ban you for winning?
Well, yeah. The script points out something crucial. Those really long terms and conditions.
The ones nobody reads.
Buried in there, you've almost certainly agreed that they have the right to limit your activity or close your account, often for pretty much any reason, or sometimes no stated reason at all.
So you click agree, and you've basically signed away your right to complain if you get limited for being good.
In most jurisdictions, yes. It really shows the power imbalance. They set the rules of the playground.
The script even mentions people trying to get around these limits, like going underground.
Yeah, it becomes a bit of a cat and mouse game for some professional bettors.
What do they do?
Using things like betting brokers, maybe using VPNs to make it look like they're betting from somewhere else.
Or even getting other people, like friends or family, to place bets for them. Runners?
Right. All strategies to try and fly under the radar once their main accounts are flagged or limited. It shows how determined some are.
But isn't that risky? Or complicated?
Definitely. It adds layers of complexity and potential issues, but it happens.
Interestingly, the script does mention a different type of sportsbook, Sharp bookmakers.
Yeah, it's a smaller segment of the industry. These are books that actually welcome sharp action, welcome winning bettors.
Why would they do that? Isn't that bad for business too?
Their philosophy is different. They believe that sharp money bets from knowledgeable winners actually helps them. It helps them refine their own odds. If sharks are hammering one side, it's a strong signal that the book's own line might be off. It's valuable market information.
So they use the winners to sharpen their own models.
Essentially, yes. But as the script notes, these places are less common, often have lower limits overall initially, and they don't advertise quite as aggressively as the mainstream books.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the main takeaway seems to be that a lot of the big flashy sports books, they talk a big game about winning.
Right, the ads are all about hitting that big parlay.
But behind the scenes, their priority is protecting their profit margins. And that often means discouraging or limiting people who consistently win.
Absolutely. So if you're betting, especially if you start having some consistent success, it's really important to be aware of these, let's call them hidden rules.
The playing field might not be quite as level as the marketing makes it seem.
It's definitely tilted.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe.
Yeah.
We see all this advertising, this image of sports betting as this glamorous path to big wins.
Yeah, very aspirational.
But knowing now about how consistent winners are often treated, how much does that advertised image really match the less publicized reality of the industry? Something to think about.